Typhoon Bopha is not over yet. You can see on the satellite picture here, it still had an eye wall starting to collapse in on itself, but still some very gusty winds near the center of circulation. Actually, the Japan Meteorological Agency has the current wind speeds at 85, gusting up to 120 knots. The Joint Typhoon Warning Center actually also had the storm system getting rather strong, up to a Category 3 typhoon. If we scroll over here, 105 knots, sustained winds on their 1 minute wind scale at this time. It seems rather legit due to the Dvorak scale, really just showing how strong the storm system is at this time. Now, why did we see this re-intensification? Well, we do have some outflow aloft along the northern periphery here, and see extending all the way off there towards the north. That's due to a trough digging in, and also an increase in vertical wind shear, and that is allowing for just more exhaust to come out of the northern portion of this storm system and allowing it to increase its outflow. Now, at first, the storm like that, it is expected to continue to weaken, though, into the coming days. But also, before we get into the forecast track here, just a latest recap of what is still going on toward the south into Mindanao here, where sadly we have seen reports of upwards of 456 dead, at least according to the NDRMC at this time. 445 injured, while 533 are still missing. So that missing and dead, at least at this time, is well over 1,000. So just a very horrible news coming out of southern Philippines at this time. But meanwhile, and we're talking about deaths here, which is sad, but meanwhile, over 30,000 homes damaged, 18,000 of them completely destroyed out across this area. So many people are homeless at this time, and I have seen many reports of people running low on food across the southern Philippines as just conditions still continue to deteriorate there, and communications are completely cut off. So please do what you can do by helping our friends towards the south. If you cannot get down there here into Mindanao to actually help out, you can always donate to the Philippine Red Cross. Any 7-Eleven anywhere in the country, actually, I really like to hear this, will accept money for the Philippine Red Cross. So that's one way. Also, you can go to their website as well. So please do see if you can go there and try to help people out. But let's get into the forecast track here in Northern Luzon, because I know many of you here are really worried about the storm. It is pulling off there towards the northeast, and it likely is going to be bringing some very heavy rainfall towards Northern Luzon here. And if we just take a look at the overall background flow, actually just following this flow, it does look like the storm should continue to track off here towards the east over Luzon. What I mean by heavy rainfall is maybe upwards of about 200 to 300 millimeters in a 24-hour period, causing that flooding. Not to the extent we've seen down here towards the south, but still there is a risk of landslides, and especially low-lying floodings, as this convection just continues to push off here towards the east over the northern portion of Luzon. So definitely there is the threat here. Now, there's just one of two options, though, and there is one better option if it does not continue to track into this easterly direction, and that would be for the storm just to kind of make a U-turn before pushing onshore here on Northern Luzon. But at this time, given the current intensity of it, I think that it will continue to track here over the island. Now, I know I said just a few days ago it seemed unlikely that it would track in that direction, but there was a big flare-up of convection into the storm system in about the last 24 hours, and actually reached back up to that Category 3 status, and that completely changed the game. It started to interact with the flow a lot differently. Really, that is one bad thing about typhoon forecasting. Sometimes they just surprise you. With that newest flare-up of convection, it started to interact with this trough a little more and was able to be pulled a little bit more towards the northeast. And that's why we're going to be starting to see that very exceptional rainfall and likely some gale force winds here across the northern portions of the Philippines as it continues to track off there towards the northeast. Now, JMA and JTWC, though, on the other hand, they both are looking for the more favorable option here of it making a U-turn and busting back out there towards the west. But at least at this time, I still do strongly think that the west coast here is going to be seeing some rough weather going through Saturday and eventually in the Sunday. And here is the track from JMA. They pull it off here towards the east into the afternoon hours here on Saturday, and then they basically whip it back around off towards the southwest away from the Philippines. This would be the best example, and the main reason behind this is because they expect that vertical wind shear to decrease the storm's intensity. Thus, it will not interact with that upper level flow that we were talking about as much, and that would allow it to pull back down here towards the southwest. That would be the best example, but if you are here, I know it's kind of last minute, but you do want to be prepared now. Once again, I do not think it's going to be anywhere remotely close to the destruction we've seen towards the south, but it is definitely going to be a wet weekend, and there is the risk of some flooding as this continues to come ashore. And anybody near the coastlines here already, this is not the time to be venturing there. And also, if you do not like using JMA, here's a track from Pagasa on Pablo, just pulling it off air towards the east and just swinging it back around. Once again, I think that the outer rain bands are still going to be affecting the northern portions of Luzon here, so don't look so closely at the exact track here. That is where the core winds are, but you're still going to be seeing some very heavy rainfall all across this area, even down towards Manila, likely in some storms. And then eventually, as it weakens, if it does pull back down here towards the southwest, that'd be some very good news. It's going to completely weaken out and dissipate after that does occur. So once again, do stay safe out there, everybody. And if you have any questions or comments, please post them in the comment box below. Also, any video reports out across this area. If you not just are in the wind or the rain, but also if you have any damage reports down towards the south, please share them with us. We're trying to share this information out to the world as best as possible. A little bit later on in today, I'm also doing a recap on yesterday's events from the 7.4 magnitude earthquake that occurred just off the coastlines. Myself was standing in front of the green screen just moments before going on air at NHK World, and when that hit, a lot of the studio lights swing in. It did look like actually rather scary there for a little while. But the good news is the reason why there is such a sway in and across Tokyo is because the buildings are built for that, so that is the good news. But we're going to continue to keep you updated. The storm system, what I suggest for everybody across this area is be prepared for the worst if it does end up making a landfall here before making that southwesterly turn. Given its forward progression and that digging of the trough there towards the north, I do think that you are going to be seeing some rather strong winds near the coastlines here as Bopha continues to make its second assault here on the Philippines. All right, everybody, stay safe out there.